Frost carved sharp lines across Adlerstein's cheeks as he approached the aircraft. Its charcoal wings crouched like a predator waiting to spring. The moment he touched its surface, he understood the impossible problem before him. Flying a machine so advanced it outran the very rules meant to keep pilots alive. Macro analysis shows the Horten Ho 229 stood decades ahead of its era. Its flying wing geometry cut radar reflection by nearly 40%, while wind tunnel projections estimated speeds approaching 150 km/h, numbers more suited to 1970s jet interceptors than a collapsing 1944 Reich. Adler circled the jet, boots cracking the frozen gravel. His fingertips trailed across the seamless wooden skin. No fuselage, no stabilizer, only a single sweeping wing. He felt physics stretching thin around him, the aircraft whispering a challenge he wasn't sure he could meet. Declassified Luftwaffe memos confirm radar crews struggled to track the Ho 229 beyond 15 kilometers. Conventional bombers appeared at triple that range, proving the prototype's unprecedented stealth signature. Inside the cockpit, Adler inhaled resin and cold iron. His pulse quickened. His instructor's warning returned. Wings without tails don't forgive. The words hovered like a ghost, scraping against the unresolved guilt of the crash he still carried. Engineering records reveal stability depended on tolerances measured in millimeters. Even minor misalignment triggered pitch oscillations up to 12 degrees. Experts labeled the aircraft mathematically unstable, yet revolutionary. The Jumo engines screamed awake. Their vibration rippled through Adler's ribs. Heat rolled under his boots. He gripped the yoke, palms slick, as the conceptual antagonist, pure aerodynamic unpredictability, pressed closer with every rising decibel. Luftwaffe performance data shows engine thrust peaking at 900 kilograms each, placing the Ho 229 on par with Me-2962 interceptors. Analysts estimated climb rates near 20 meters per second. Astonishing for wartime jet prototypes. The runway wavered in shimmering haze. Adler hesitated, panic scraping up his throat. The memory of his wingman's death surged back. The miscalculation he replayed endlessly. For one fragile second, he nearly shut the engines down. Command reports reveal fierce internal resistance. A senior officer dismissed the project as technically impossible, while another insisted flying wing aircraft would never achieve operational stability. The project survived despite its own obituary. Adler forced the throttle forward. The aircraft lunged ahead, wind clawing the canopy. The Ho 229 wavered between ascent and annihilation, the nose twitching like a creature testing its instincts. Adler's pulse hammered as he fought to keep the line straight. Technical evaluations later confirmed a lift-to-drag ratio nearly 20% higher than contemporary fighters. Analysts predicted long-range potential rivaling jet bombers that wouldn't appear until late in the Cold War. The wing tore itself free of gravity. Adler gasped as yaw slipped sideways without warning. Instinct snapped into place. He corrected fast, sweat chilling down his back. The aircraft behaved like a riddle that rewrote itself mid-flight. Horten design notes anticipated such instability. Without a vertical tail, control depended entirely on precise elevon timing. Any reaction slower than 0.2 of a second allowed oscillations to accelerate exponentially. Clouds engulfed him. The engines hummed cleanly, yet the wing flexed with unsettling silence. Adler felt suspended between brilliance and catastrophe, the same impossible tension he sensed the moment the aircraft first revealed its alien silhouette. Turbulence nudged the wing, each ripple amplified through the frame like whispered warnings. Adler steadied his breathing, aware how razor-thin the boundary was between flight and freefall, as if the sky itself weighed his right to be here. Wind tunnel archives show instability spikes over 820 km/h, without computer correction, which didn't exist for another 40 years. Survival demanded reflexes operating in fractions of a second, beyond normal pilot endurance. A violent jolt slammed the aircraft sideways. Adler seized the yoke, knuckles bleaching white. His stomach lurched as the horizon pitched. The memory of his past crash tore through him, sharp and merciless, threatening to hollow his confidence. Engineering summaries later revealed early prototypes lacked reinforced spars. Stress loads exceeded safe limits by 30% during steep banks, creating fatigue long before the aircraft reached its intended capabilities. Adler coaxed the wing back into alignment. Sweat stung his eyes. The cockpit offered no buffer, no tail buffeting, no vibration cues, only faint shifts like a predator circling its prey. The Ho 229 spoke in subtleties, and every message carried danger. Allied radar studies later confirmed what Adler felt in his bones. The aircraft's stealth signature cut detection probability in half. Operators reported targets vanishing from their scopes, an ability unheard of in 1945. Adler eased the throttle open. The engine surged, pinning him to the seat. The wing seemed to free itself, gliding with predatory grace. Fear loosened its grip, replaced by a dawning sense of possibility he hadn't felt since the war began. Yet production memos reveal command continually blocked expansion. One report dismissed the design as beyond practical deployment, and a technical expert insisted advanced composites were impossible under collapsing wartime industry. Adler leveled out. The aircraft settled into a smooth, knife-like glide. For a moment, silence filled the cockpit. Clean, steady, almost peaceful. But a question lingered like a weight. Could any pilot truly master a machine 40 years ahead of its time? Material analyses later confirmed the sea. Wood carbon laminate reduced structural mass by nearly 15%. Paired with jet propulsion, the theoretical range approached values not seen again until early stealth development. Storm fronts darkened the horizon. Adler tensed. Turbulence was the aircraft's silent assassin. Without modern warning systems, he flew blind, guided only by instinct and the fragments of wisdom his instructor left behind. A brutal downdraft hit like a fist. The wing dropped. Adler's vision smeared as the aircraft spun into a tightening fall. Gravity clawed upward. For a moment, the Ho 229 felt less like a machine and more like a verdict. Accident reports show that 90% of flying wing crashes stemmed from stall spin coupling. Without a tail, recovery depended on perfect timing. One misplaced second sealed a pilot's fate. Adler forced air into his lungs. He countered the spin with deliberate, disciplined motions. The aircraft resisted, then slowly aligned. Engines steadied. The horizon rose. Adler exhaled, realizing how close he had come to becoming another statistic. Then he felt it. A faint tremor along the left wing root. Not loud, but unmistakable. Stress, fatigue, airflow distortion. Whatever the cause, the aircraft was speaking again, warning that brilliance carried its own hidden fracture lines. Adler dipped lower, testing the tremor. The vibration deepened, crawling through the frame like a shiver. His breath tightened. Instinct warned the wing was nearing its structural threshold. The aircraft felt less like an ally now, more like a rival losing patience. Structural analyses later showed asymmetric load spikes of nearly 20% along the left spar during aggressive recoveries. Engineers concluded the prototype simply wasn't reinforced for repeated high-stress maneuvers. Adler banked gently. The tremor softened but never vanished. Sweat traced down his spine. He sensed the Ho 229 challenging him again, daring him to decide whether its genius outweighed its fragility. Fear and fascination merged into a single pulse. Post-war American testing revealed stress fractures, forming after only 8 high-pressure cycles. Engineers described the design as spectacular but unforgiving, marking the second major informational break in its development history. Through thinning clouds, the runway emerged, Adler aligned for descent. Controls stiffened. The wing wavered like a blade in crosswind. He whispered his mentor's warning, "Wings without tails don't forgive," as if anchoring himself against rising dread. Analysts later confirmed the flying wing's glide ratio allowed approaches nearly 30% longer than conventional fighters. What looked like stealth was, in measurable terms, an aerodynamic feature embedded in its geometry. Ground crews watched as Adler descended, clipboards ready. At 50 meters, he cycled the controls to reveal the instability he'd detected. Sensors spiked instantly, recording oscillation, levels well above acceptable margins. A second pass confirmed structural vibration rising by 13%, under minimal input. Observers documented every reading. The conclusion was immediate. The aircraft required reinforcement before any operational consideration. Senior Command signed a directive authorizing continued development based on Adler's data. His flight overturned earlier claims that the Ho 229 was impossible to stabilize. Resistance collapsed under the weight of measurable evidence. Adler touched down hard, skidding but intact. Mechanics swarmed the trembling wing. He stepped out unsteady, yet certain he had revealed the machine's truth. The Ho 229 was dangerous, yes, but undeniably transformative. Post-war testing at Wright Field confirmed what Adler had felt in the cockpit. The Horten design reduced radar cross-section by up to 40%, validating stealth concepts that would shape aircraft like the B-2 decades later. Museums now showcase reconstructed Ho 229 frames, while universities run airflow simulations that finally explain the behaviors Adler fought by instinct alone. Its influence lingers in every stealth jet, a ghost blueprint embedded in modern aviation. Analysts estimate the aircraft's innovations improved survivability in future designs by measurable margins, having detection probability in later generations. Its legacy threads through manuals, studies, and classified aerospace branches. Adler's quiet ritual, placing a hand on the wing before each test, became tradition among pilots who later trained on flying wing concepts. His notes remain required reading for engineers studying the origins of stealth theory. And when Adler remembers the aircraft's alien silhouette years later, the same tension he felt at first contact returns, only reversed. The machine no longer threatens him. It acknowledges him, the pilot who proved it could truly fly.